Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 31, DJI status in the USA, August 5th, 2025. Hope everyone is doing well. We got a full house in here tonight. Let's take a look and see who we got. Get my cursor working here. Akarasho. All right. Waypoint, New England, Jody, Drone Shots. See who else we got. Michael Wright. Welcome, Michael. Let's see, Joe America, welcome, Joe. RJ Redding, welcome. Let's see who else we got. Lauren is here. Trini, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for stopping in tonight. Appreciate it. Let's see who else. Art is here. Welcome, Art. John Flynn, welcome, John. And who else we got? Okay, that's it. Got a pretty good full house tonight. Ron's going to join me here in a little bit. Trying to get somebody lined up to join the show next week. So cross your fingers. Yeah, so just cross your fingers on that. Good news is I got the other Blue Yeti is, well, I'm going to try to fix it, but I went ahead and I bought a brand new one. The other one lasted me, 6 years. It was fantastic. It's a great microphone. So I ended up just getting the same thing. So maybe I have an idea what's wrong with the other one, but I still want to keep it. Have a backup mic, and I'm going to be working on some other things with that. So going to get that taken care of as well. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. I have a week from today, I go to the dentist and find out, hopefully in September, I get permanent teeth. And when I get permanent teeth, that means I can eat real food, because right now, like you guys know, if you know the drill, I can't chew. I have to eat soft food or soups. Yeah. So it's, yeah. So I get most of my protein from having salmon, and I've enjoyed salmon, but I told my wife, I said, I know exactly where we're going to go and what I'm going to get when I get my permanent teeth in. And it's called Bubba's 33. If you guys have them, you know what they are. They're an offshoot of Texas Roadhouse. Incredible food there. Absolutely incredible food there. Burgers, boneless wing, best boneless wings I've ever had. Just incredible food. So, all right. Actually do have a lot to talk about tonight we got to tie in a lot of stuff. And we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at that Section 232, because I told you last week, when I went out there, only 60 people had signed it. Well, there's been a little bit of an update on that. So we're going to share that here in just a little bit coming up. And absolutely a lot going on. Now, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was, let's go ahead and share my screen here. You all know the Osmo 360 came out. Well, lo and behold, right away, a new firmware update comes out. SuperNight mode and a battery boost. It's kind of like a power saving feature on there. Nothing real extraordinary about this firmware update. It's some things to help out. And the big thing, and Johnny, welcome. Good to see you, Johnny. Thanks for stopping in tonight. The big thing about this is, and I know there's some guys put out a video about using DJI Studio, because if you're familiar with 360 cameras, as it comes off the camera, it's not ready. You can't put it in Final Cut or DaVinci or anything, video editors. You have to edit it before you actually put it in the editor. Okay. Well, there's a guy who put out a video on how to do that, and I didn't get a chance to watch it today, but I think this is one of the big things for me that's keeping me from getting a 360 camera is that. And the other thing is that people have said this doesn't come with replacement lenses, but it comes with, and it's not DJI Care Refresh, Don't know how much it costs, but there's an option to buy a lens warranty specifically on that, where you get 2 or 3 replacement lenses for that. Now, the interesting thing that I found out is Insta360, I think they have replacement lenses that they include with them. So find out. But to me, irregardless of the fact, it's a lot of work, and a lot of people like to use it for B-roll. I know I saw you guys probably watched, excuse me, you guys probably watched Drone Nation last night, and Eddie Nunez talking about it. And there's a lot of work to using footage off of a Insta360 camera or the Osmo 360 camera. And it's enough when I do a workflow and I've gone out for a flight and I'm getting ready to put it together. There's enough work in and of itself. And then to add that on top of it, I'm not sure what the results are that much more worth it. But, there may be a point in time I might investigate it. But for right now, that's going to be a no-go for me, even off of our friends over in South Korea. And we're going to talk about the Mini 5 Pro here in a little bit. But this is the latest. They have a firmware update that's out on that. Now, they also came out, okay, as you know, besides DJI Studio, DJI Mimo. And there's a firmware update for that. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that as well. It's called DJI's Mirror Mode Osmo 360 Color Grading, the Mimo app. So for those of you that use the Mimo app, I haven't used it a whole lot. I did a little bit for the Pocket 3, but it just doesn't. I mean, I just like getting my footage into DaVinci Resolve and messing around with it there. So, but the Mimo app was updated. There was a firmware update, and it does include now Osmo 360 color grading. So that's interesting, and it's interesting to see how all that works. But again, there's a lot of that. Oh, Michael Wright, that's awesome. You got your Falcon V mini copter just arrived. Awesome. That's great. Congratulations. Let us know how that works, okay? And I'm sure you'll be posting to VCopter Central, aka Johnny Drone Flyer, to keep him apprised of how things are going. Seriously though, give us a heads up. Let us know how things are with that. It's real interesting. I wish it was like, I know how they do things with 00 Robotics. I wish it was faster than that. Because if it was, I'd probably be looking at something like that. So, but no, that's good news. It's good to see that. So, we have these updates here. One of the other things was, and this kind of got lost in the sauce, one of my favorite drone reviewers out there, Sean from Air Photography. Sean just, no fluff, no, you get it like it is from him. And that's what I love about Sean. He just tells you exactly like it is. Doesn't sugarcoat it. Put out a great video. Now, he did a comparison video between the Mini 4 Pro and the Skyrover X1. Okay. And it was very interesting, and I definitely watched the video. Now, I'm just going to tell you something here. The range was better with the Skyrover X1 than the Mini 4 Pro. All right. It just, it flew out longer and before, Sean lost signal. Now, a lot of that could be the environment that you're flying in, topography with hills and trees and things like that. You need to take that into account. But all in all, I mean, it held up very well against the Mini 4 Pro and the other areas. Looking at the camera and the video footage and everything, it's hard to discern from the Mini 4 Pro. It really is. It's, and I know what people say. It's another Specta. It's like a DJI clone company and all that. And I get it and I understand that. But I'm basing this on just being called a Skyrover, okay? And from what I've seen and the footage I've seen, I'm very impressed with that footage, okay? So who knows? Maybe I might get one. Who knows? I may be already have one. I might. I don't know. We'll find out. So, but no, this is a good video, and I encourage you guys to go ahead and take a look at that. Mark White, happy birthday. I know it was your birthday either today or maybe yesterday. I think it was your birthday. So happy birthday. Wanted to make sure I got that in for you. And I know it was somebody else's birthday too, and I'm sorry, I forget who it was. If anybody knows who has another birthday, put it out there. But for Mark White, happy birthday, my friend. It's another year and you're on this side of the dirt, and that's always good news. So congratulations and best wishes, and I hope you had a good day. Okay. All right. Well, this is for the Mini 4 Pro Skyrover from Sean. Watch the video, read the article, but watch the video. Sean does a great job with this. Sean's always succinct, to the point. Don't need a lot of fluff with that. But I was I'm also impressed with the app that it uses. And now I did reach out to Skyrover, and I got a couple of questions answered from them, because I know these are questions I know if I'm going to review the Skyrover X1, cough, cough, that people are going to ask me. And the very first question I asked was about accessories, specifically batteries. And what they told me, they said there are no plans at this time for accessories, including batteries or props. But I was told they're looking into that at this point in time. So just to let you know, all right, that's where it's at as far as batteries and props are concerned, as far as we find out from this. So stay tuned. I'll try to be getting some more information on this, and you may have a review in the future on it. I don't know. Lynn Smith, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Michael Wright, happy birthday, a little belated, but nonetheless. Oh, Richard, happy birthday. Congratulations. That's awesome. Happy birthday to Richard. 84 today. That's awesome. Congratulations. I hope I'm operating as well as you are, my friend. You are you take it to the extreme. You live every day. God bless you, my friend. That's awesome. That is just absolutely, positively awesome. We're glad you're getting out there. We're glad you watch us, and we're glad you're a wonderful, active part of this great drone community. So, Richard, again, congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I know a lot of people have August birthdays. My best friend growing up, his birthday is August 1st as well, too. Mine was in July. What can I say? So was Valerie. What I told Valerie tonight? I told her, I said, you know what? I should have you on the show with me just to sit here for 10 or 15 minutes. I said, I'll get double viewership because they don't have to look at my ugly face. They can look at your beautiful one. What can I say? Okay. I think I'm going to do that sometime. I know you guys would enjoy that. So, but anyway, again, the happy birthdays around the horn, Mark White, Richard, and Michael Wright. Guys, hope you had a happy birthday, or having a happy birthday. And that's awesome. Love birthdays. Birthdays are fantastic. Okay. All right. We're moving on here to, let's see what we got. Okay. It's so hard to keep up with new information on things. It's like, next thing you know, something else is coming out. Okay. And drone related, believe it or not. All right. And I think this just came out yesterday, and it's called a travel-friendly drone. It's the HoverAir Aqua waterproof drone, makes a splash. Okay. Not much is known about it. Let's see. Turning heads with one standout feature, it floats. Yes, really. Waterproof drone is not only compact and clever, but might just be the shot across the bow that DJI didn't see coming. There's another picture of it. The company is best known for the $299 HoverAir X1. Since then, HoverAir has launched upgraded models like the X1 Pro and X1 Pro Max, bringing 4K and even 8K. Drone DJ recently reported serious import challenges and talking about everything that's going on. I think they said it was going to have 4K 100 frames per second, if I'm not mistaken. And if you see anything about that or knew anything about that, okay. World's first self-flying camera, here to make serious waves. Okay. Find out everything you need to know through the link in the bio, enter in your email, joining the HoverAir Aqua Facebook group, and turn on post notifications. Okay. I thought I did see something about 4K 100 frames per second. I don't know. So yeah, that would be great about Jasper there, Dre. That really would. Hopefully we can get some. So I don't know, but that's where we're at with that. There was no other. I didn't see any other updates. And if anybody knows about this, and this is just me for now, there's Ron.
Hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, Ron. How are you?
Good. Got my internet issue fixed tonight, so I shouldn't be delayed and stuttering.
Well, that was you were spot on last night, so there was no issue on Drone Nation last night. So, going over the HoverAir Aqua, I thought I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, I did see something about video footage, 4K, 100 frames per second. Did you see anything about that?
Bill, I missed that. I didn't see any reference to the frame rate in the drone. I can't help you here.
Okay, all right. Because somewhere I thought I could have sworn that I saw that, and it may have even been out. They have a Facebook group, and they want to encourage people to join that because that's where they're going to post new information about that. So
Yeah, I'm not sure what the other hover drones have. The ones that came out, we'll say last fall. I'm not sure what the frame rates on those were, but yeah, I'm a little bit behind on this thing. Is this just another follow me drone, Bill?
I think so.
With a beacon.
Yeah. I think it may have a beacon because some people were talking about that in the Facebook group. Some people were also talking about having a controller with this drone as well too. So
well, the other hover, if you whatever, you can buy a remote for even the other. I don't know all my hover names, but those the Hover Pro, I'll call it.
the X1, there's the X1 and the X1 Pro.
Yeah, you could get a remote for that also. One that has a tiny little screen built in, or you could attach your phone to it.
Well, and I wanted to ask you, Ron, what's the use case for this kind of a drone? I mean, I'm trying. I was thinking about it since I saw this. I'm like, okay, it'll float in water, but okay, and it floats in water. So
I had the same thing. Maybe say if you're a surfer and you want a selfie drone to follow you while you're surfing, well, you wouldn't use the regular hover because good chance that drone lands in the water at some point, run out of battery, whatever. But with this thing, if you were a surfer, it could follow you in, and even if it landed in the water for any reason, you just go back to scoop it up. Or say you have a jet ski, you want to follow you on a jet ski. In other words, these are if you're actually in the water doing an activity.
Right.
But on land, I can't really, I mean, like if you have a following drone, it's not like you can walk over water, so it's not following you over water. Yeah. So I just, but for water enthusiasts, water sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that sounds about right. I was actually thinking because growing up, we had an above ground pool in the backyard. It was pretty big. You know, to record stuff with kids in the pool and things like that. I'm like, yeah, that's okay, but that's not. I really didn't think something. I think it's more like what you said. It's for like water sports enthusiasts with like the jet skis and surfing. And things like that. Yeah, that's and paddle boarding. I think
a boater, the boat obviously would go too fast for it. I mean, unless it was like a little rubber boat, but a motorized boat would go too fast for probably.
Yeah, power boat. Yeah, that it wouldn't be for anything like that. But something that wouldn't be too fast. I think it would be along the lines of that. So maybe kayaking, things like that. Who knows? you know.
Yeah. Anything like, in a water, in a slow moving, either, something like that. Yeah, Richard. Even though I live at the beach, I go in the water about once a year. So, I don't really need much follow me in the water or whatever.
Oh,
I fly my drones over water, but I'm way up there that they're not getting hit by any waves.
yeah, yeah. The whole thing with water at the beach. Well, I'll go back to years ago. We used to take our family vacations. We used to drive from Pittsburgh to the Jersey Shore, and we would go to either Stone Harbor or Ocean City. Okay.
Mhm.
My mom was obsessed, or Atlantic City. We'd go to one of those three. It seemed like every other year for our family vacation. And when we did that, my dad used to tow me out, had a canvas raft. Okay. It's about 3/4 the size of a normal raft, but he would swim way out and let me ride a wave back. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah,
With that. Okay. But
yeah.
now it's like, and this is so funny because I just saw did an interview with Richard Dreyfuss because this year's
Joel's
the
anniversary.
50th,
Yeah, yeah.
50th anniversary of Jaws. And he said, you know what? I don't even wade in the water anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I don't go. I'm not talking afraid of, sharks go in the water, but just, you get older. You're just not as enthused about getting in the water as you were when you were younger.
Well, a real quick story. I'm just gonna just allow me some poetic grace here, guys. My poor mother on one of our trips out there. Okay, now she's definitely allergic to crab. Okay,
Okay.
and so she ordered lobster, but the lobster was cooked in the same pot as crab. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So we got back to the hotel room. She broke out, was just miserable. We still had 2 more days there. All right. She was fine. Just, I think she had some Benadryl and stuff, but she still was not feeling very comfortable. So we went into the water the next day. Okay. And a big wave comes and hits her. Well, my mom had a front partial. When the wave hit her, it knocked her partial out into the ocean. All right.
Oh no.
And my poor dad dove in the water trying to find it. Of course, it was long gone. And then here we are. My poor mom, her face is all, bloated and stuff from having that allergic reaction. And on top of that, she's missing her front teeth. Her back, she didn't carry a
Mm.
spare because it was at home. And it was that was
That was a
the
rough
world's
vacation.
longest trip
A
back home.
rough vacation. Hey, Richard says, remember the Altel, the Altel what was the Altel Nano that was Marcus's Altel, actually, that fell in the ocean at the South Florida Drone Meetup. This hover build, does it have float if when it hits the water? Did it say
It
that?
says it floats.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does say that it
Yeah,
floats.
we could have used the hover that day the Altel sunk. The Mini 2 actually made it to the shore and hit a tree, so it actually was in like a little bit of water, but it wouldn't. The Mini 2 wouldn't matter because it hit a tree before it hit the water, and it was shallow water, so it was recovered. It was recovered, but yeah, the Altel, if it could have floated, so we could have recovered it. Yeah.
Well, last night, and I wanted to say this. I really, one of the things that I really, really liked, and Eddie's always a great guest, and he's fantastic. And I was ready to call the last part of the show Cybertruck Nation.
Yes. Yeah. I think we did at one point. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but him talking about it really made me think about not only Insta360 but the Osmo 360, and I know you've mentioned it before, is the processing after you're done shooting film with it.
Mm.
And Eddie was really very upfront about that, and it's a laborious process.
Yes.
Sometimes it's frame by frame,
Yeah.
even with like in DJI Studio is apparently what the Osmo 360 uses, and they don't have anything like the Insta360 app that does a lot of that. I know you've mentioned that before
Well,
too.
I believe, again, this is my belief. Nobody's really showed it, but I think the Mimo app now you can add the 360 video in the latest version of the Mimo app, even though I haven't seen anybody show that on screen, but that's the way I understand it, though, Bill.
Yeah, somebody put out a video today about using DJI Studio to edit footage from the Osmo 360. I haven't watched it, but I did clip that, and I did find that there was an update to the Mimo app today, and it had something to do with Osmo 360 color grading,
Yeah,
is what it said.
yeah.
So we'll take that for what it's
I
worth.
mean, unfortunately, Bill, I mean, they're packing so much into that Mimo app now. I hope it doesn't start to run sluggish on kind of older devices or even the low-powered devices like, if it's on like a controller or something. So,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I fear. I mean, because the 360 app runs pretty good if you're on a newer phone, and it has all the bells and whistles.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get started here with DJI status in the USA. And the first thing, the article that Drone DJ put out, and this was in regards to, now this came out a couple of days ago.
And
Once
Rick Smith
again,
made an excellent video about DJI's availability
yes,
issues too.
yes,
Yeah.
and I wanted to talk about that here in a second as well. It says, once again, another DJI product will not be available in the US. Okay. And it goes into, and it talks about, and everybody knows this, and I don't want to rehash all of this. You guys are welcome to read this article for why DJI is not bringing what may be its most competitive product to the US. DJI officially does not give a specific reason, stating there are multiple reasons why the Osmo 360 will not be available through DJI officially in the US. We have to adjust our marketing strategy as local conditions in the industry environment have evolved. Okay. So, you can kind of take that for what it's worth as far as that's concerned. But one of the things that I did want to talk about was Rick Smith put out probably one of the best videos on this, and you guys need to watch it. I did watch that, and, Rick was very succinct. He was very to the point, and, he sorted things out. It's a great video to watch. So it's something that I would encourage all of you to go ahead and go out there and watch.
And Bill, I'm sure you have it in your group, and it's pinned to the top of the Drone Nation group. If you can't find any,
yeah, I did get mine. I did get mine out there. Now tomorrow is the last day to comment on Section 232.
Oh yeah,
and I wanted to go ahead and share this. Now, this is.
Hey, but Bill, can I stop you just before you move too far off the subject of DJI availability? iPhoto, he was the only U.S. reviewer, the only reviewer in the U.S. that I saw had the DJI 360 camera. But at some point near the end of his video, he said it would be available in the U.S. sometime in September. So I don't know if he's basing that off of inside knowledge or what, but he clearly stated without any doubt, like in his voice, that it would be available in September in the U.S. So
now I want to talk about that here in just a second. Okay.
Okay. I didn't want to get. I didn't know if you were circling back.
But no,
that's
a great point.
Off that. Okay, sorry.
Because I remember you. I know you were talking about that. One of the things that I wanted to show everybody, and I think this is important. When I made mention of the fact for Section 232 last week, I said that there were 60 people who filled this out.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's 650,136 comments. Okay.
Wow.
So we went from 60 in about a week's time, over 600,000 people have commented on this, Ron, which is fantastic.
Well, you know how it is. It's like a homework assignment. Everybody waits until the last minute.
And you said that so well, because tomorrow's the last day for commenting on this. Okay.
Hopefully that number doubles again, Bill.
Yep, it could double overnight. So that's good news. Okay. So and I know a lot of you, and I've seen your comments on not only on my videos, but some of the links that were posted out on Drone Nation or out on Bill Drone Reviewers group and other comments out on Twitter and everything. And I get it, and I understand why you're not. Let's use the word optimistic here. Okay. Yeah. I want to say this. All right. One of the things I think, and I've been saying this the past few weeks, is, if Wayne Gretzky had a quote, he said, "You miss 100% of the shots that you never take." Okay. All right. Well, if you don't do anything here in this instance, and what I mean doing anything is filling out those forms from Drone Advocacy Group and getting out and commenting on Section 232, if you don't do anything, okay, you're living up to what Wayne Gretzky said. You're missing 100% of your shots. You've never taken them, okay? And taking these shots are important. And one of the things that I've also been saying too, and I can't say this enough, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but we may not get exactly what we want, but we may get something, and we may get something in our favor that will help us out. We may get them to say, look, we'll give DJI a moratorium for X number of years. Or, if DJI decides to build a plant and employ American workers and only sell their drones in the United States, we'll go ahead and do, something along those lines. We may get some compromise here. So
find a middle ground.
Exactly, Ron. Exactly. So I wanted to make sure to get that in. And I want to thank you guys who are going out there and doing this, okay? Because it does make a difference. When you see those numbers out there, and I can tell you, and I think Vic Moss may have commented on this. He said, one of the things that they look at is, not so much, the nitty gritty of the details, but the number of people who have responded, especially congressmen and senators, it sets off alarm bells for them, because guess what? Okay. Despite of the lobbyists, despite of all the money being thrown at them and everything, okay, it's you and I elect these people and put them in office. So just, bear all this in mind here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Bill, I think just one final comment. I think it's just a general, I hate to say this, but it's just people have lost faith in their elected politicians across party lines. People people feel it's worthless because they've lost faith and again, they're represented, because in a lot of states, Bill, people's representatives haven't done a very good at representing them anymore.
Exactly. And
as you put out, there too many politicians represent those what do you call the people coming around with the money? The
lobbyists.
They represent the lobbyists more than they represent the people that voted them in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're going to take a look at the Mini 5 Pro. There was a substantial leak on it this week, and
probably more information dropped this weekend than up at the whole other rest of the however far you want to go back. Yeah,
I agree, Ron. I agree 100%. First of all, this detailed photograph. Okay, this is like the best photograph.
That's our best photograph by a mile, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, you can see everything on here. It's crystal clear. The sensors up front.
It's not a radical redesign. It looks very similar to our Mini 4 Pros.
It does. It does. And I think the thing that you notice are the sensors up front that kind of stands out, and it's a little wider up here at where this gap is right here.
Yeah.
And now there was a misprint on a box that Jasper Ellens got a hold of, and posted that out on his site.
Bill, now, can I stop you for a second? Can we give John Coopy credit? He's the one that found this stuff on Reddit, and he kind of leaked it to the drone groups before anybody else did.
Well, kudos to Coopy for getting that. That's absolutely fantastic. All right, 7 DJI Mini 5 Pro features confirmed. Ultralight and foldable, 1-inch image sensor up to 4K, 120 frames per second, true vertical shooting and 225-degree gimbal rotation, high quality 48-minute mid-tele mode.
I'm going to stop you there. High quality 48mm mid-tele mode. So we're going to get some kind of a tele on this, and it probably not. We've had zoom. We could zoom on the Mini 4 Pro, but for them to say this line high quality, we're going to get some kind of a tele on this thing. That's going to be a feature that to me is the most interesting.
So that's going to be like a manual zoom. Is that what that means?
Well, I don't know, Bill, but 48mm. That's almost like the 3X. What is the 3X on the Air 3S? The 3X is, I forget the millimeters, but that's almost like having a 3X on the Air 3S on this thing, on the Mini.
Okay. That is an absolutely fantastic feature. Nightscape, omnidirectional optical sensing with forward-facing LiDAR, which we saw from.
No, I'll stop you again real fast. Do you think all DJI drones outside the budget drones are going to have LiDAR from this point on?
I think so. I think so. I think
It's a
the only
standard
one you
piece.
probably won't see it on will be like a Mini 4K. I
Yeah,
think
the
everything else
budget
is going to have
series.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything else will
And
have it.
of course the FPV drones that don't want sensor. They don't want to be stopped.
Exactly. Now it said active track for running, cycling, and more in 36-minute flight time.
Now,
Now the
what is the flight time on a Mini 4 Pro and a standard battery? Do you remember?
with a standard, I'm going to say it's pretty close to that right now because
That's not a big jump. Okay.
I think with the extended battery, I think it's like 45 minutes.
Okay, so then maybe the regular battery, maybe this is a few minutes more than maybe the regular battery is like 32 or something.
Yeah, I think it's a minuscule difference as far as that's concerned. Now, the 1-inch sensor, the overall better camera, the LiDAR, being lightweight to send to the Mavic 4, we conclude would operate on the O4 platform and be sold as a Flymore combo with the DJI RC2 and DJI RCN3. Now, is this a real DJI Mini 5 Pro box? There's some talk about that in the agreement.
Notice how they didn't say it won't. They didn't mention the RC Pro, so it won't be sold. It won't be sold in a package with the RC Pro too.
Right. And I was exactly. Thank you for bringing that up.
And before you go too far, it keeps at the top there. It says lightweight and all, but guess what? Nowhere on that box there does it mention under 250 grams. All it says is
that was
lightweight.
the next.
Why
Exactly.
did they dance around the 250 gram thing?
You are reading my mind, my friend. That's exactly what I was going to say. No mention of 249 grams on here. So, and that makes a difference for our friends over in the UK and the European Union and in Canada as well too. Yeah. It makes a big difference. So, wow, that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Now, one of the things, small improvements, missing 249 gram information. There it is right there. When will it launch? Okay. Now, it was supposed to launch August 7th. All right. And that apparently is gone by the wayside. Yeah. It's now set back to September, just like the DJI Neo 2 that recently appeared in FCC documents, and proving that will also get a bit more juice in its battery as well, too.
No, I always thought the 8.7 date, I always thought that was a pipe dream anyways. I never felt that was accurate.
Okay. It's talking about DJI postponed releases, unavailability in the States, okay? Now, here's a rumor I've seen from several sources, and it really kind of is unsubstantiated, but I wanted to get this out there because I wanted to let everybody know about that. Supposedly, and this is just supposedly, okay? This is not Bill and not Ron. This is what I've heard, and I'm just telling you guys this, okay? Supposedly, the reason for this delay is that DJI is working out a deal with the United States Customs Department to be able to sell products in the United States, and this will they will be able to do that. This is what I have heard. Okay, this is just some conjecture and some rumors that are going around, and I've seen
that's the rumblings. Yes, Bill, that is the rumblings with nothing verified, of course.
Right, nothing has been verified about this. Jasper hasn't said anything. Igor hasn't said anything, and our good friend Ositalev hasn't said anything about it. But I've seen it from some other sources out there, and I don't want to name those sources, but that is something to keep in mind and keep it in the mix here. All right. Now, I know a lot of you, and I know, our good friend Michael Wright's in the chat here, and I know our friend Tom Dowling, Tom bought it off his Mavic 4 Pro off of seller from South Korea on eBay. And I know Michael Wright did the same thing, and Michael's been pleased with his. I know he has. Michael, I know you're in the chat. And please feel free to comment on that. And, there's other ones have done that as well. I think Lon Denner has done the same thing. Yeah. And these people have had very good success with the sellers from South Korea. And so one of the things that I'm going to do, and this is me, I want to get the Mini 5 Pro. Okay. And if it's not available in the United States, I'm going to purchase this off that one of those South Korean sellers that Tom or Michael Wright or Lon may have used. Because they've had a really good track record. It's been shipped fast. It's brand new.
Yeah, and apparently both South Korea and Japan, they don't pay the tariffs. The price you pay is the actual price. It won't get held for additional tariffs as it comes into the US.
Exactly. That's a great point, Ron. And I think that's why, and it's South Korea and Japan are like that. So you can look at sellers in Japan as well too. And I noticed, they're not marking this up. Okay. You're getting pretty much what I think list price would be here in the United States, maybe 100 or two more. I don't know,
Right.
but it's
Right.
not
A
outrageous.
lot of guys are getting the Mavic 4, the flyboard combo with the good control and all that. They're getting it for between 35 and 4 grand.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of with the ballpark we thought we thought it would be sold in the US.
Okay, Eric, this is on eBay, okay? And there are some sellers out on eBay. As
Yeah,
far as
I don't remember the names, Eric, but if you watch Drone Nation from not this Monday but the previous Monday, Tom talks about his seller in the show.
yeah, go watch Drone Nation, not this week, but last week. I did watch it, and Tom did specifically mention that. So go out there. They're on eBay, and they're from South Korea. Okay, that's
And
one
none
thing.
of us are getting any kickbacks at all from these eBay sellers, so we're not recommending anybody for any monetary gain. Hey,
No,
Bill,
Richard.
before we get too far off to say this whole issue in the Osmo 360, here's what I found strange, Bill. When the Mavic 4 Pro came out, of course, it never appeared on the US version of DJI's website. It wasn't there at all, and as of today, it's still not there at all, right? But how comes the Osmo 360? How comes it appeared right at 8 a.m. last Thursday morning, but out of stock in all configurations? Why did they put the placeholder in there, for the 360 where they did not do it for the Mavic 4 Pro? Does that go to the theory of what you mentioned about September? So this 360 is a placeholder there until the time in September when it does become available. Is that what's going on here, Bill?
That is an excellent point, Ron, and I really think you hit the nail on the head. I think they put that placeholder out there because I think they're anticipating being able to sell this in the United States. And I know our good friend Richard brought up a good point too, that if the Mini 5 Pro is over 249 grams, they're going to need sales from the United States. Okay,
Right, because we're going to be the only ones buying it in great quantity because, I shouldn't say that. European, Canada, but say you go to Mexico, you go to the Caribbean countries or whatever, a lot those places have no 250-gram rolls. I'm going to say probably at least half the world doesn't have the 250-gram rolls.
Right, and I know it's very prevalent in the UK,
Yeah,
in the the European
EU,
Union countries,
EU, UK, Spain.
and Canada as well too. I know it makes a difference up there, but for us, it doesn't make any difference at all. But
Yeah, I mean,
Richard brought up a good point with
we would
that.
just have to register and pay our $5. That's the only thing it means to us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you want that seller, go back and watch a week ago, Drone Nation. Tom mentioned specifically who it is in the show, so you can look them up. And there's, nobody's getting any kickbacks from anything as far as this is concerned.
I don't care if we don't. I don't have a link, but I don't care if you use Tom's link or not because nobody's getting a cent off of any of this.
Yeah, we're just passing this information back to you and letting you know this. Now, kind of switching gears just a little bit here, but still staying on the same track. And I want to keep this up here. All right. Guys need to watch, a lot of people are very confused about all this issue and everything that's going on. Watch Rick Smith's video. Okay. Just not once, watch it a couple of times. Okay. And, get a pen and a paper out and write some things down about this. If you're confused, Rick will sort it out in your mind and straighten everything out.
Oh, Rick got a little more emotional and worked up in this video than he usually does. Rick's usually the happy big smiles, but Rick, you saw a little bit angry Rick in this video.
Yeah, and it's good seeing that, Ron. It really is because Rick is like, and I think I'll use the term righteous anger. Okay, And I think that's kind of the attitude that we should have, not in terms of, our actions as far as, as far as that's concerned, but stirring us up to the point of going ahead and filling out those comments, filling out those emails from Drone Advocacy Alliance to our congressmen and senators, calling their offices up and leaving them a voicemail or talking to somebody. Okay. These are the kind of things that spur us on to do these things. All right. And one of the things that I think should happen post whatever happens at the end of December, let's say we're fortunate enough and we prevent the ban, okay, and things work out in our favor. I'm just throwing this out there. All right, what we need to do, okay, is drone pilots here in the United States, we need to form a NRA or a ARRL type advocacy group for us, okay, that their main goal and their main purpose is to advocate for Part 107 pilots, okay, that's it, okay, and and hobbyists as well too, because we have no voice, okay. If you remember the NRA, they're a very powerful lobby and a powerful organization, and they've gotten legislation passed, okay. And I know you've heard me talk about the ARRL. That's for ham radio. Okay. They protect the airwaves. Okay. Because one of the things that the FCC would love to do is they can sell portions of the airwaves off to places like AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile. All right. Which takes away from ham radio. And ARRL goes out and defends that. All right. It's the same thing here, okay? It's what we need we need an advocacy group, I strongly believe, to defend us in Congress, okay? And before the government, because we really don't have anything right now. And I got to say this, God bless Vic Moss, because I know, he has his normal everyday job, and then he does Drone Advocacy Alliance on top of that, all right? And he really does a great job at that. And I was trying to get him on. I know he's like super busy. But he said, when he gets some time, we'll see about trying to get him on the show, because I think, he would lay everything out. But one of the other things I'm trying to do is seeing about possibly getting Rick on as well, too, because that video really kind of spurred me on. It's kind of like a rally around the flag video. Okay. It's kind of like the videos you would see at the beginning of World War II to try to drum up support, war bonds and things like that, and get people, thinking in that direction. And think of the feeling, that they had back then, and the feeling like we had after 9/11. I mean, yeah, we were angry with a purpose, okay, and we didn't want to let this happen again. And I think that's one thing for us as drone pilots. All right, we don't want to see things like this happen again to us. So we need to have a voice out there, and I feel very strongly about this. And that's why I'd like to get Vic Moss on. I'd like to get his input in that. I'd also like to talk to Rick and get his input and see something like that, because we have nothing out there right now. And I know you guys would be glad to pay like $25 or $50 a year to have this and to have somebody be a voice for us.
Yeah, especially if it got some results. Yes.
Exactly.
Hey, Bill, one thing in Rick Smith's, as good as Rick Smith's videos, he did leave one important part out. He didn't talk about the Uyghur situation. Like right now, drones aren't banned yet by these bills that are trying to examine it for all the stuff where it's spying. The only reason we can't get these drones now, Bill, is that the customs agents through the Uyghur Act are stopping them at the border. Okay, so that's the real reason why we're not getting drones now. And if they did work this out, well, that would be a benefit to the community. Is even if the ban went in place in December, that would prevent future drones from getting FCC approval. The current drones that we can't get, like the Mavic 4 Pro, the Mini 5 coming out, the Neo 2, they would be available, and they would keep shipping because they already have their approvals.
Exactly.
Correct? So
exactly.
So like it wouldn't be such a bad space, even if no new DJI drones got FCC approval, at least for the first couple of years, if we could still buy our current drones. Like again, I'll go Air 3S, Mavic 4 Pro, Mini 5 Pro. If that was the 3 drones you could get, that would be a powerful lineup for years, Bill.
Yeah, it would. It would. And you bring up a good point here, Ron, is, you know, there are so many different ways and directions that this can head in. All right. First of all, Section 232, which is the Commerce Department, and watch Rick's video. Okay. I'm not going to rehash a lot of what he did but this is separate from the bill that really got started by Congressman Stefaniak. Okay.
Right.
It's separate from that. That was part of the defense bill, defense appropriations bill, which states now at the end of the year, and you guys know this, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here, that if one of the alphabet agencies doesn't review DJI for security, national security concerns, then automatically they get put on the list, the FCC covered list, which is a list you don't want to be on because Huawei's on it, and Huawei can't sell phones in the United States because of that. And now they were actually shown to be a national security concern. Okay, it was black and white. There's no ambiguity about that. All right, DJI, not one person has said anything about this. And I think the thing that gets me, and I've actually sent this out to my congressman, and I've sent this out to Senator Rick Scott and Senator Ashley Moody here in the state of Florida. I said, why has no other country on the earth mentioned one word about a national security concern with DJI except the United States? And
Rick brought that up in his video also.
Exactly. Okay. You don't see any of our allies. Okay. Let's say, Japan, the UK, Canada, anybody over in Europe. Not one person is saying a thing about that. Nothing. Nobody. Okay. So, just you do need to watch Rick's video, and I am going to try to get him on because it was so well done, and I think you need to spend some time watching that to get a flavor for things and see how things are. What I'm doing right now, I continue to say, and I've said this before in the previous weeks, and I keep sounding like a broken record, but please hear me out. If you can buy batteries or props, okay, for your drones that you have now, do so. All right. And if you're able to buy a Mini 5 Pro when it comes out and you really want to get it, go through one of those sellers from South Korea. Okay. Watch Drone Nation from a week ago. You can find out who Tom used and you could use them. All right. They have been very reputable. I know for a fact, I know Tom's got his, Michael Wright has gotten his, Lon Dennard's gotten his through there, and they've had no issues.
I don't see Zach in here, but Zachary, who's on all these chats, he's one of the first ones to get one from South Korea, I believe. You know what I mean? I forget Zachary's full screen name, but he's always in these chats.
Ray, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and Ray's even in her state, right?
Yep, she hasn't responded. I've sent her communications, not one response. I've left the only one I've actually gotten any kind of a response from, so to speak, has been my local congressman here, Vern Buchanan. He's my congressman here in Florida, and I've gotten a response back from one of his staff members. Okay, that he said the congressman is reviewing, my email and will get back to me. I'm not hopeful on that, but at least I got something of a response.
Yeah.
Okay,
Stefan, you can't even get the canned response from her.
Yeah. That's I just it's ludicrous because I think what they have been told was stay silent, don't say a word on any of this is what I think it is.
Yeah.
Now I know a lot of you have said
Bill.
a lot of you have said that this is automatic and it's going to happen automatically. I'm going to say this. Don't think that. All right. Absolutely. Do not think that. All right.
But you're right, Bill. A lot of people have just lost hope. That's why they don't do anything now. They've lost all hope.
Yeah. You've lost all hope. And I get it. And I understand that. Okay. But all right. We speak up. We have a voice with them. All right. Even though I know Richard said, we're pretty small. Over 650,000 people responded to this. Okay. Because it's just not drone pilots who are affected by this or hobbyists who are affected by this. There are business owners, okay, who are affected by this. All right. People who, for example, Ken Dono, It's what he does for a living. Okay. And he uses drones in his living for real estate photography and videography
every day, right? Every day, yeah.
every day. Billy Kyle, that's what he does too. Okay.
Right.
People, and I'm talking, and there are corporations who do things like gas line inspections, cell phone tower inspections, just all kinds of things, power line inspections, just ad nauseum on here. Businesses that have sold these drones, okay, employing people. This is not just more than just Part 107 pilots. This is far reaching, okay, and the estimated impact on this, they're talking anywhere from 750,000 to almost 1 million people will be impacted by this here in the United States should DJI be banned. And we're also talking first responders as well too, and I think a lot of you guys know that. In the state of Florida right now, first responders are not allowed to use DJI drones. The governor signed that into law. And again, I went out, I messaged him, no response from him as well too. So like I said, keep doing what you're doing. Keep responding. Keep commenting.
Before the comment gets too far gone here, Mike Ray put in the chat, the seller, the eBay seller that Tom and I used for the Mavic 4 Pro Creative Combo was DW/store 13.
Okay, there you guys go. Michael, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Go out there and bookmark that seller. Write that down if this is something you want to be interested in, because I know both Michael and Tom have had a great experience with this, and it's something that I would highly recommend if you're looking to get the Mini 5 Pro. It's something I would definitely, and it's what I'm going to do. It's probably exactly who I'm going to use as well too. So, definitely go ahead out there and pursue this. So, with all that being said here, okay, don't lose hope with any of this. All right. Don't think that just because, we have been getting, stonewalled and not getting answers and everything here, it's not a reason to lose hope. And I know a lot of you guys are kind of dejected by it. I know I've seen a lot of the comments that are out there that are dejected by it. Don't be dejected by this, okay? Because our voice, we have gotten out there, we've spoken out. And like I said, it's more than just us as Part 107 pilots and hobbyists. Business owners have gotten out there. They've commented on things as well too, because it affects them. And like I said, the studies have shown it's going to affect up to 1 million people here in the United States and have adverse effects for them. Plus on top, first responder organizations as well too, and costing American lives. Okay. We don't want any of that to happen. And I think, we'll have some favorable results. I can't guarantee anything like that, but I feel very hopeful. Okay. So don't stop with your emails. Don't stop with your phone calls to your congressmen and senators. If you haven't filled out that Section 232 comments, you have till midnight tonight to go ahead and fill that out, because it's too late tomorrow. So get out there and do that after Rotor Talk's over. I mean, that's kind of where things are right now. I mean, yeah, it's a time to be excited because, there's some drones in the works. Okay. We have the Insta360 anti-gravity. The Mini 5 Pro is coming out. The Neo.
And did you see somebody on Twitter? They posted some real good pictures of the anti-gravity.
Yeah, I did see that right before I got on. I was going to get that on there. We'll get that on next week, and I'll post that out to Bill, the drone reviewer, as well too. But yeah, we're getting more leaks about that as well too. So that's going to be very interesting how all of that pans out. So guys, don't give up hope. All right, please don't despair. Okay, at the very worst, I think what's going to happen is, okay, if they do ban DJI drones, okay, they're not going to shut our drones down. All right, we're going to still, and that's why I'm telling you to buy batteries and buy props, because for maybe a 3 or 4 year period, we're not going to be able to buy any new drones. All right, I don't know about batteries and props, so that's why I'm telling you guys, go out there and buy them now. Okay, I've known people, and I've had several people email me that they've purchased Mini 4Ks as a backup to their other drones that they have, even though they have one already, just because they want to have that in reserve, and they bought some extra batteries with that as well too. So be wise, be prudent. Not all is lost here, guys. All right, Ron, you have anything else to share?
Did you see? I want to see Johnny Dronefly's comment. if it was under 250 grand, they would have had that on there on the box for the
Yes.
Mini 5 Pro. And Captain Joe America says, at Ron, have you received your Mini V-Copter today? No, it's scheduled for tomorrow, and it was in Pennsylvania today, so it could make it tomorrow. So, Captain Joe, did you get yours today? I know Mike Wright got his maybe Monday or yesterday. So they're starting to get here, Bill. The Mini V. Hopefully next week in the show I can bring the Mini V-Copter on with me.
Well, maybe next week I might have a review of a Skyrover X1.
Oh, wow. Well, the Skyrover, that ship's fast. Marcus said he got it in 4 days, but those drones like the Mini V-Copter, they may fly fast in the air, but when they're on a delivery truck, they move slow, Bill. They move real slow. When they're on trucks and planes and ships and whatever, they travel at like a snail's pace.
Absolutely.
Well, your benefit, when you ordered, your drone was already sitting in an Amazon warehouse. That's why you benefited, Bill.
Well, with the Skyrover, I ordered it. It took about a good 7 days.
Oh, okay. It did ship from overseas. Okay.
It did come from Malaysia.
Okay.
It did come FedEx, and it did come from Malaysia. So that's
how
it came.
Yeah, they definitely have better logistics than Indiegogo getting us these V-Copters. Mike's saying, Ron, my Mini V-Copter arrived 1 hour ago. So he just got it as the show started. Wow. There you go, Bill. Breaking news.
I'm hopeful that, because I'm actually thinking about doing it, but I don't know how long it's going to take now before they would ship new Mini V-Copters out. So after placing orders,
can you still go to Indiegogo and order one?
Yeah, it's still active. I did take a look at the site the other day, so that's still up and active. So if you're thinking about doing that, do it. Do you have any things to wrap things up with here, Ron?
Yeah, you're not really. We cover a lot of stuff. Tonight and last night's show. I guess Bill, we're on holding pattern again for the Mini 5 Pro, which again I never thought August 7th was the real date, anyways. But we're in a holding pattern there, and we're in a real holding pattern to see if DJI products do go back on sale in the U.S. starting sometime in September, and I believe, Bill, if that happened, maybe products that were ordered like these Mavic 4 Pros, maybe that you would be able to go ahead and get your warranty and your carrier refresh stuff again, even if you got them from South Korea. Do you think so?
It's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah.
And if what we hear, what I'm going to close with, if what we're hearing is true about the reason they delayed the Mini 5 Pro, that they're working out a deal with customs to be able to get DJI product into the United States, that would be outstanding news, and that would be outstanding news for everybody. And and I know a lot of people would have to swallow real hard, the ones that paid well over and above for a Mavic 4 Pro. It would be some good news, and I think it would be good news on our end as well too. So cross your fingers, hope that that's true. Okay. And even if it isn't, you can still have that source. Then thank you, Michael Wright, for posting that out there of who you purchased that from on eBay. I think that will go a long way for a lot of people if you're interested in a thing like a Mini 5 Pro, which I am, and which I'm no doubt for me, I want to go ahead and get that. So, and I know Michael has said, no problem registering it, logging it into it, getting firmware updates, anything. All things are good for that. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. Keep the faith, okay? Call your congressmen, call your senators, go out on the AVS, fill out that form and make your voice heard. It's very, very, very important. Don't stop. All right, guys, take care. Have a great rest of your week. As always, great day to fly. Take care, everybody.